Hello, my name is Jane Conway, and this is Tabitha Kerr, and we are going to discuss language. All right, first of all, um, language is something that is acquired, it's not learned. You can't learn it through grammar structures or workbook pages or anything, it's through experience more than anything. You acquire your second language just like you acquired your first one. You have an experience, you sort of think about what it means, you test it out for a purpose, and if you get what you want, then you're like, power. and
Right.
that's and that's honestly what that yields the motivation is the power of someone understood me. I and I have achieved my purpose.
Right.
Okay. And you just keep going through that cyclically with the students. Um, we'll just start with a writing sample then.
Okay.
All right. I love this writing sample. I thought it was hysterically funny. And it's perfect for a seventh grade class. It really is. And if you could go on and just sort of explain it a little bit.
So we talk about a little bit of being using the argumentative writing process. So it talks about a little boy who's lying about a detention, a cheating boyfriend, trying to get them thinking and processing the whole writing of the classroom. We'll save the academic piece as we grow and enhance our writing more.
Which is amazing that you already do that because that is something called macro scaffolding. Believe it or surprise.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, believe it or not, that is macro scaffolding. And what all that is I'm here, my goal is there, and all of the processes that you go through to
Right.
get to that end result. When I saw her paper, our student's paper, I was so impressed. Uh, your goal is to teach argumentative argumentative writing, speaking,
Right.
but on an academic level. She already has the constructs of it already. Uh, she has, let me make sure I can get it all here. Um, she has her claim.
Right.
She supports it with three pieces of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
She ties in real world implications of lying. And she also proposes sort of a solution and what she would do. I was floored. You are amazing.
Well,
Uh,
she's a sharp
sh-
young lady. So
she is also amazing. She really is. She already this was just way early in the whole procedure.
yes,
So she is already understanding that if I do this, this, and this, I've made my argument.
right.
And that's your goal. I mean, and she's here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the academic language of it comes through the comes through the different activities leading up to your final product. Okay. Speaking of scaffolding, um, scaffolds are just like they are in building. You put some up, it helps you build, it makes things better and easier. Okay. One scaffold, one thing you could use is something called a translation chart. And it has nothing to do is this is Japanese, this is English.
Oh, okay.
I know. It's just like I can't do that. Yes, you can. Because it's and it also helps all of your students. You have an eclectic group of students,
Yes.
okay, and a good 90% of them need assistance with academic language.
Yes. At
They know,
least.
yes, they know how to speak without, no problem. Okay, just using this writing sample. If you get, I would do it on chart paper because it would be good to keep it up in the room. How would you, all right, this young man got a detention.
Mm-hmm.
How would you discuss a detention with your friend? What would you say to your friend? And write down whatever your students write down, the language they would use.
Okay.
Okay. How would you talk about that same detention with your mother? Okay. Write down the language they would use with that. Okay. How did this language change? These words, are they correct talking to your friend? Of course they're correct.
Right.
I mean, that is the context. Language language create is created in a context. Okay. Talking with your friend, use this language. But do you see how your language changed when you were talking to your mother? And do you see how it changed again when you were talking to your teacher?
Right.
Okay. And it doesn't, it's a way of talking about academic language without sounding judgy, because you don't want our student to feel less intelligent because she doesn't speak English.
Right.
She's actually more intelligent because she can also speak Japanese.
Correct.
It's sort of switching that mentality. Builds equity in the classroom. Everyone gets to be on the same page, and everyone feels good about it's okay to talk. It's okay for my dad to speak the way he does. I don't need to correct his grammar.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So that's that. Um, Speaking of academic length, something else about the chart and keeping the chart. Those choices in language that they're making, again, even though this is sort of a middle school story of
Right.
detentions
Mm-hmm.
and cheating boyfriends, um, it can be used as okay, we need to use these words, this vocabulary. It's sort of like when you're talking to a teacher as opposed to your friend.
Kind of back the old registers of language.
I wasn't using the terminology, but that is register of
Sorry.
language. No, that's why I picked her. She's awesome. She gets it. But what's gone though is writing process,
Mm-hmm.
which is glorious. That whole, you've got to feel where the comma goes. We couldn't tell them where the comma went.
Right.
They had to, yeah. You're supposed to overtly teach those hidden curriculums.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone has had, not everyone was born in the United States. Not everyone has had the same home life here in the United States. It just, again, you teach things specifically and in context like this, and then on into more formal context. All right. Academic language is more than just vocabulary, it is literally language, which I think you just realized it's not this means this, but how does it all work together? How does you do still teach vocabulary? You have to. Matter of fact, I'm getting there right now. Um, it's it's based on choices students make to achieve a purpose. Okay, language of our argument. Okay, you've got evaluative language, emotive language, objective language, all of the vocabulary in that
Mm-hmm.
that would sound really silly if you were using it when talking to your friend, but it is completely appropriate when you're in the classroom. Again, it sort of makes everything acceptable and okay. No one has to worry about anything outside of this is how we talk here,
Right.
which I love. Uh, okay, we've already touched on the difference between written and spoken language. Um, one of, actually, it's my professor, Dr. Westerland, has produced a piece about a writing piece. I've completely lost the name of it. I will get that to you.
Okay.
I will send you the link. I apologize. Okay. So, how do you build that engagement? What do you have to do to get to that point? Um, what we've already talked about. Writing, you have to connect it to their lives.
Without the connection, they are not ever going to give you any product that you want.
You see, you already get it. That is the motivation. That is that's why they write. And that's that sense of power of you understand. If I set it up this way, you understand what I'm talking about.
Right.
And just that feeling of you and I can talk about something, we're sort of constructing a language together. Um, she, as you know, loves. All right, you tell me. What are things she loves? She loves most the, to talk about.
She's a very fashionable young lady.
I, which, as are you.
Well,
So
thank you.
yes, you all discuss clothes, and you had mentioned earlier band and her music and
Yes.
dance.
Hmm.
Something she loves is contrasting Japan to the United States, but it's not in a, well, back in Japan, it is a very matter of fact, approachable thing that your students would love. It, feel free
Okay,
to
we
bring,
can try that.
to
Yes,
ask,
sure.
because again, that is her motivation. She loves to share. She loves Japan. She loves the fact that she is Japanese and that she's learning two languages, and she enjoys. She's not intimidated by the differences or upset about the differences. She enjoys the differences, and she's very mature. She really is.
She's a great girl.
She really is. Um, you one of all right. The first thing, connect to their lives. Secondly, language is power, and that's the motivation to achieve your purpose. Third, provide students with many high quality examples of a genre, which would be, we both know this is not a high
Right.
quality. This was just a starting spot, but on down the road, you show them what language is used. This is a good piece of argumentative writing or speaking. You deconstruct it together. You explicitly teach the language I was talking
Hmm.
about before, and they can work in pairs and can write together. They can write separately. They can write in groups. You write, they watch you write. It's just a big cycle. Um, and something else I mentioned earlier, you just focus on a student's abilities and not their deficits. Um, I could really go on and on about the grammar structures here and the spelling. Actually, it's really pretty good. It it's very very good actually. Um, but what she is doing is, in her mind, she's applying Japanese rules to the English
Hmm.
language, and it's completely logical. It really is. And where, you know, my first instinct would have been that needs to be a plural. There are no plurals in the Japanese language. There are no articles. That's just it. And so those things need to be taught overtly, explicitly.
Right.
Okay, but in context, which you do. You already do that. You're not going to just stop for a grammar lesson. It's got to be based on, okay, these mistakes are going on. Let me show you this really quickly. Let me show you this in this model piece, and it works. Uh, all right, the speaking sample. The contrast between the writing sample and the speaking sample, bless her. She can do so much in private, and she gets so scared when you click record or it's in a bigger setting. And just to say this right, I'm going to go into all of the wonderful things she can do because she can, but she just needs so many safe opportunities to enjoy speaking.
Yes, that I have noticed. That is a big struggle for her.
She's so, it's, and even in talking to her mother, she is just intrinsically a quiet child, even among Japanese speaking children. She's not, her sister's the talker.
Right.
Not her, not her. Um, she already has amazing communication skills. We look like we're sort of flailing when we're talking to each other, but she can do it, and it's amazing to me. She can always already use words and phrases in short sentences to express her ideas.
Hmm.
So just little sentence chunks. She can switch components in and out of grammar, in and out. As I said, don't teach grammar, but in and out of. Do you know sentence strips, sentence
Hmm.
charts? Okay. Say, for example, That's actually one of the scaffolds I was going to mention to you. Um, she would like you could have up in the room on page blank, the author states that da 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 when they're citing their examples.
Hmm.
I have seen her take a sentence starter like this and already turn it around and sort of modify it for her own use. I don't, yes. Um, she is already incorporating academic vocabulary into her language. She will use first, second, last. She will use transitional expressions. But again, she won't if she has to be thinking about it.
Right.
She will in a more comfortable situation. But that will come
Okay.
in time. She has already progressed. She is still progressing. And with scaffolds in place, she will progress even further. What these are right here are graphic organizers that work in the language arts.
Okay.
Okay. And not all of them will work in every situation.
Hmm.
But graphic organizers make language visible, just like the translation chart would.
Okay.
Okay. Um, and these are, again, working in pairs, letting her speak, letting her talk. You can even warn her ahead of time. I'm going to ask a question, but I'm going to ask two people first. Listen to them, and then I'm going to call on you.
Okay. We can try
Okay.
that.
And some days that might work, some days it won't. It's just, you just keep trying.
Okay.
You keep trying. Sometimes students will feel more comfortable talking to other students as opposed to another teacher.
Hmm.
And again, cooperative learning opportunities where it is her role to speak.
Okay.
She will if she has to, because she wants to be successful. That is just sort of part of she want watching her when she finally gets things going and we have a conversation.
Hmm.
She gets so excited and she wants to be showing me pictures on, but she will Google pictures to get the meaning even deeper. And this is something she really wants.
Okay. Then we will try
Oh,
our best to get
well,
there.
and you already are. It's just, I don't know. I really enjoy the student. Um, Another thing that would help with visibility of language, illustrated words, phrases, word walls.
Okay.
But again, they don't have to stay up all the time. You could have your language up for argumentative writing and then maybe move it to another place. Space is a commodity. I know that. Sometimes you can take a picture of it, run it off, and they can keep it in their binder. And it's a
Right.
portable word wall.
Okay.
I mean, there's all sorts of ways of doing this. Um, these right here are more sentence starters that are specifically argument based with the claim, evidence, and then something that this could build into the reasoning behind it. And again, that's more abstract,
Hmm.
which is difficult. Um, Concrete words are usually the social words, social language.
Hmm.
Um, Academic language, it's just not concrete. So, and again, it just has to be overtly taught. Okay, those were all my sections. As
Okay.
I'm stuttering, I've talked a lot today. Um, and just in summary, uh, if language is power and she is multilingual, she will be unstopped. She is already unstoppable
Yes, she is.
now because she has that motivation and she is doing beautifully. Do you have any questions? Do you have any? I just sort of rambled. Do you have?
I think just giving some of these type of charts and things that I'm not accustomed to having. So I think this is going to be a good start for me,
True.
and then really getting her in a comfortable spot so she is more open to talk to me and the other students.
You have a very safe environment in your classroom. That is something you are known for. That is something that you strive for. And she will she will definitely be successful.
I think she'll be fine.
I think so too. Because she already is. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.